There is a betrayal nobody warns you about. It does not come from your enemies. It does not come from strangers. It comes from the people who once sat beside you, laughed with you, called you their closest friend. And the moment you begin to rise, the moment something in you shifts, changes, grows, they vanish, or worse, they stay. And they make you feel like the villain for becoming more. This is not a coincidence. This is not bad luck. Niccolò Machiavelli, one of the most ruthlessly honest thinkers who ever lived, understood something about people that most of us are too afraid to admit. He understood that loyalty is almost always tied to usefulness, that love in its most human form is deeply conditional, and that the cruelest thing you can do to certain people is outgrow them, because the moment you do, everything changes, and you will have no one to blame but the version of yourself you refuse to stay small for. Let us talk about what really happens when you grow, not the motivational version, the real one. When you are at the bottom, struggling, uncertain, searching, you are safe to be around. You ask for advice. You need help. You validate the people in your circle simply by needing them. There is a quiet comfort in shared mediocrity. Nobody feels threatened when everyone is standing at the same level. In that space, friendships feel effortless. The laughter comes easy. The loyalty feels real. And you convince yourself that these people will be with you no matter what. But Machiavelli knew better. He spent his entire life watching how people actually behave, not how they say they will behave. He watched rulers fall the moment their power weakened. He watched men swear undying loyalty and vanish the moment the tide turned. He watched people claim to love the powerful and then celebrate their collapse in private. And what he concluded was uncomfortable but undeniable. Most people do not love you. They love what you represent to them. They love the role you play in their story, and when your role changes, so does their affection. The moment you start waking up earlier, reading more, making different choices, building something subtle shifts in the room. At first, it is barely noticeable. A small comment here, a quiet dismissal there. Why are you so serious now? You've changed. You think you're better than us. These lines are delivered with a smile, but underneath them is something older and darker. It is fear, and it is disguised so perfectly as concern that you almost believe it. This is the first mechanism of expiration, not hatred, not jealousy in its open form, just quiet friction, an energy that says, stay the same, because when you stay the same, they feel safe. The moment you begin to change, you become a mirror, and people do not like what they see reflected back at them when you start becoming who you could have always been. Machiavelli wrote that men are driven by two things above all else: the desire to acquire and the fear of losing what they have. Most of us think about this in terms of money or power, but apply it to the ego and everything becomes clear. Your growth threatens what your old friends have, not their possessions, their identity, their comfort, their justification for not doing more with their own lives. Because as long as you stay where you were, they did not have to confront their own stillness. You were proof that staying still was acceptable. The moment you moved, you became proof that they chose not to. That is a wound that most friendships cannot survive. Here is the brutal part that no one tells you. Some of these people genuinely loved you. That is what makes it so painful. It is not that they were fake or malicious from the beginning. It is that their love had a condition buried so deep they did not even know it was there. The condition was this, that you would never make them feel left behind. And the moment you do, even without intending to, the relationship quietly begins to die. The calls become less frequent. The energy shifts from warm to careful. The conversations that once felt effortless now feel like negotiation. You start choosing your words. You start hiding your wins. You start shrinking yourself in their presence. Not because you want to, but because the discomfort when you do not is unbearable. And that is where the real danger lives. Not in losing them, in becoming smaller to keep them. Machiavelli was not a cruel man. He was a clear one. He believed that a leader, and every person who chooses growth is leading themselves, must see people as they are, not as he wishes them to be. The greatest mistake you can make is to extend loyalty to those who have outgrown their loyalty to you. To hold on to a friendship out of guilt when that friendship is slowly draining the life from your becoming. He understood that sentimentality, when applied to the wrong people at the wrong time, is not kindness. It is weakness, and weakness in the realm of your own growth will cost you more than you realize. There's a version of you that exists on the other side of this understanding, a version that no longer feels guilty for evolving, a version that can look at an expired friendship with grief, real grief, but without the desperate need to revive something that was built for a smaller version of you. Here's what nobody says. Not every friendship is meant to last forever. Some are meant to last for a season. Some people are in your life to walk with you through one chapter, not all of them. And when the chapter closes, forcing them into the next one does violence to both of you. The real question is not why they left. The real question is why you are still holding the door open. Machiavelli warned that a man who cannot read the nature of those around him will always be at the mercy of them. Read the people in your life, not with cynicism, but with clarity. Ask yourself, does this person want me to grow, or do they want me to stay where I am so they feel comfortable? Does this friendship require me to dim my light to keep the peace? Does the version of me they love even exist anymore? If the answer is no, if the version of me they love is the old one, the struggling one, the one who needed them, then keeping that friendship alive is not loyalty. It is self-betrayal. Growth is an act of courage that most people underestimate because it does not just change you. It rearranges everything around you, the relationships, the conversations, the rooms you feel comfortable in. And some of those changes will feel like loss before they feel like freedom. Let them feel like loss. Grieve what was real. Honor what you shared. And then, with clear eyes and a steady heart, let it go. The people who are meant to walk with you into the next chapter of your life will not need you to shrink. They will not be threatened by your silence or your ambition or your refusal to go backwards. They will meet you where you are going, not drag you back to where you were. Machiavelli built his entire philosophy on a single terrifying truth. The world does not reward who you were. It responds to who you are willing to become, so become it. Even if the room empties, even if the silence that follows growth is deafening, even if the friendships that expire in the process were ones you would have given anything to keep. Because the worst thing that can happen is not losing the people who cannot grow with you. The worst thing is becoming someone who stopped growing to hold on to them. That is not loyalty. That is a slow disappearing act you perform on yourself, and you of all people deserve to be seen whole.